Decisive. The reason people have so many problems and obstacles coming their way is because you're not decisive. Instead of making a decision and taking massive action, they end up getting stuck on the problem and frozen and end up. So when you're faced with a big decision, that's the first thing you should do. Just go ahead and get as much information so you can make that decision. Because for you to just waiting around, expecting for the decision to come in while you don't have any information, while you don't even know what to do, it's not gonna solve itself, right? You're gonna have to put in the effort to go and get that information so you can make. Hello everyone, this is Inspire Tuesday number 105. Because our team at Icon Dental Center believes that starting the day motivated and inspired sets up the rest of the day for success. We bring quotes to our morning huddles and it has been so positive to our team that we decided to share it with you and hope to motivate and inspire you as well. Today the topic is be decisive. The reason people have so many problems and obstacles coming their way is because you're not decisive. Instead of making a decision and taking massive action, they end up getting stuck on the problem and frozen and end up not moving on. So I have in here 3 tips to help our team and you to be decisive. I'll talk about 2 tips, bring 1 quote, and then 1 more tip. Enjoy! Tip number 1 is avoid perfectionism. Successful people they have to be decisive every day. And leadership is all about making decisions. And it doesn't matter what leadership you engage with. It can be because your parents, in your group of friends, maybe your leader at work. All leaders have to be making decisions, and everyone are faced with the same obstacles that you are while making a decision. It can be scary to make a decision. Is this right? Is this wrong? However, successful people, they understand and they avoid to be perfect. They understand that a good decision is good enough. And because, so what if you make the wrong decision? As you go, you notice it's a wrong decision, make another decision to change the first one. What happens is if you don't make any decision, if you're afraid of making a decision, you're gonna get stuck. There's gonna be no action. And if there's no action, there's no progress. So this is why there's all this say that says, it's better to make an imperfect decision than to make no decision at all. That's exactly why, because you need to keep moving, and there's no need to be perfect because no one is God. You can't be perfect with every decision you make all the time. You make a decision, you notice if it's not a perfect decision, make another one and so you can correct the first one. So it becomes perfect, right? So it's totally fine. Avoid perfectionism, but make sure that you're making decisions because you need to keep moving. Tip number 2 is get as much information as possible. So when you're faced with a big decision, that's the first thing you should do. Just go ahead and get as much information so you can make that decision. Because for you to just waiting around, expecting for the decision to come in while you don't have any information, while you don't even know what to do, it's not gonna solve itself, right? You're gonna have to put in the effort to go and get that information so you can make the decision. For example, for a doctor, someone comes in and the doctor has to make a decision on the treatment. The doctor needs to have a health history, gather all this information, then get the x-rays, look at them, all the information needed in order to find out what is the treatment, to make a decision on the treatment. You can't just guess, so maybe you have a cavity, because I think you have, or maybe you have a tumor. People don't say maybe when you're talking about medicine, dentistry. It's the same thing for everything. This is what I tell my daughter. She's in high school. She wants to figure out what career to take. Take all these classes. Yes, and then the way I say is okay, take an AP chemistry, AP biology, AP chemistry, and then what if I don't like it? Great, at least you know the medical field is not for you. But if you don't know anything, if you're never trying to gather information and get out to get this information, how are you gonna make a decision when you don't know what you like? Right? Same thing in business. It's even more critical because if you are guessing on information in business, is as bad as a doctor guessing on a treatment plan. You don't make decisions not knowing what are the numbers on the business. what is all the information that you need in order to add a new team member. Is it really needed, and why do we need it, and how? Like everything, you need to have all the information, and they need to be right and the right facts. You cannot have an x-ray, for example, that is bad, that you cannot read anything and come up with a decision. Right x-rays, right information, same thing in business. Get all the facts correctly, all the numbers right, so you can make a decision. So tip number 2, in order to make a decision, is get as much information as possible. A quote from Bernard Langer: "Be decisive. A wrong decision is generally less disastrous than indecision." Tip number 3 is practice good decisions. Making a decision is important, but it's not enough. If you make poor decisions all the time, you're not going to be very popular. And definitely it's going to be hard to be successful. So the right thing, the ideal thing would be to make the right decision at the right time. But it can take practice. It's not so easy, especially if that's how you're starting right there, like if it's in the beginning. And there is this coach that is called, his name is Neil Wolfhard. What he says is that people that go back and forth in big decisions and they usually struggle with small decisions as well. So the easiest way to practice that is to start with the small decisions that don't have a lot of consequences. For example, if it's taking you too long to pick what clothes to wear, or what restaurant to eat, what sandwich to order, all this little thing, what is your plan on the weekend, start by practicing there. Give yourself 30 seconds to make a decision that is that small, and yes, it may be the wrong decision. It's fine. I decided the wrong sandwich because I decided too fast. It's fine. At least you're practicing to be a little bit faster on decision. Next time, you don't order that sandwich, but you're going to be you're going to be training your mindset to be a little faster on taking decisions, especially the small ones. And that's a great practice. I definitely recommend that. So I hope you guys like the topic and the quote today, and I'd love to hear from you. Do you have a hard time making small decisions, like what you're going to wear and what you're going to eat? Leave me a comment below. And if there's any topic you'd like me to talk about, go ahead and also leave me a comment or send me a direct message. Most of my all my topics lately have been coming from direct messages. Thank you so much for being part of this community. And if you haven't done yet, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our pages on Instagram and Facebook at Icon Dental Center for more Inspired Tuesdays. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.